Hello and welcome to Gamersledge Podcast. Come in, sit down, relax, and join us. My name is Mark. I'm one of your hosts. And joining me today is, of course, the larger-than-life, taller than everyone else version of Mitchell.
Hello.
Well, it has been almost, I think 2 weeks since we did podcast because of various things. You guys are experiencing all kinds of crazy flooding. And it's been crazy, but what have you been up to since last we spoke? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been playing some Smite. Went back and visited Slime Rancher for a little bit. But mostly I've actually been playing a game called Alliance Alive, which is the second game in a DS series. I didn't know it was a sequel when I picked it up. Mm-hmm. It's not a direct sequel though, so it doesn't feel like I needed to play the first one to play this one, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, it's been a good game so far. It's made by, or at least the publisher was Atlas.
Got it.
So
nice. Is that all you've been up to? Watching anything, or that's it?
Right, watching. One Piece. I'm on about season 6 now. Finally got the full crew. And then I've been watching. I watched the season 2 of Sword Guy, which is one of the Netflix animes. Have I been watching anything else? Nope, that's really been about it. Yeah.
Boku no Academia?
Actually, oddly enough, Funimation is behind on their episodes compared to Hulu, so Funimation hasn't caught up with where Hulu was yet, I don't think. So I've been holding off on that so Funimation gets caught up, so then I'm watching, which is kind of funny because Hulu gets their BNHA episodes from Funimation.
Which you could have told me that it was in the middle of a season before I started and burned through all of them and ran out of stuff. I'm like, what? It's the middle of the freaking season. Oh, yeah, so.
Yeah.
I
mean, I guess, yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed My Hero Academia. It was okay, but I have to say that it has Dragon Ball-itis on steroids. In that, like, the first 5 to 7 minutes of the show is recap and credits. There's about 10 minutes of real content in the middle, and then it's another 5 to 7 minutes of recap and credits at the end. It's like there's just a sliver in the middle. It's kind of really bad that way.
The later seasons have been a bit worse about it, but it isn't too bad. I've seen shows with worse. I've seen shows with much worse. I've seen shows where it's like 50% of the runtime is recap versus that little, like, maybe, I don't know.
I'd say 50%. I'd say 50% of the show is filler. Out of a 22-minute episode, I would say 50% of My Hero Academia is filler. And what's worse and good at the same time is that they are exposing plenty of Japanese rock bands because they change the theme song every 5 episodes. It's really weird, but kind of interesting.
Well, they generally change it with the arc rather than the season, like the plot arc that they're in. They generally change it with that, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's decent. It just seems like they have a long way to go to get from A to B. If that makes sense. Like they are Dragon Ball-ishly dragging their feet to get from A to B, in my opinion. I get it. They're wanting to expand on it. I get it. But
I'm guessing at this point, they're probably starting to catch up to the manga again. So I'm guessing that's why we're getting some of that recap stuff. But overall, I think it has the potential, and it's definitely seeming to look this way, that it has the potential to go up to like the One Piece, Bleach, Dragon Ball kind of standard of longevity.
I really want someone to make a supercut where they remove all the flashback scenes, because that's one of my other real qualms with it, is like they play the entirety of a flashback scene in every episode. At least one. Sometimes 3. Depending on what's going on.
At least it wasn't one part of One Piece that I just watched, where it was like 5 episodes in a row of recap of everyone's origin story.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, I get it. It's worse. It's worse when you shotgun it all on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. It's not so bad when you're watching them individually, but when you watch them back to back to back, it's almost like now I want the Netflix skip intro to actually include the stuff I've seen already. So that it just gets me right there.
I think part of that is just it was designed for that era in which recap was still necessary, where it's like weekly episodes, where everything wasn't just like you didn't binge watch shows during that time period. It's just kind of based around that kind of set of standards, which for today it doesn't work as effectively, but because people want that kind of stuff where they can just sit there and go through it all. But yeah.
Don't mind me.
Overall, I think we can both agree that it's a really good show.
It is a really good show. I'm invested in the characters. I actually really I was looking into the hands to to try and do that for Halloween, because I think that's a hell of a creepy friggin' outfit with the hands all over your body. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I found some options online, but they're kind of pricey, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. But yeah, I got to grab a water, so I'm still here and listening. But what else did you watch? Movies?
That's movies. Did I watch any movies? I don't think we had a podcast the week after my dad and I watched Serenity and Firefly, so I got through all of that.
Does that denote you didn't like it?
No. I loved Firefly. Like, I understand now completely 100% why you guys say that show should never have been canceled.
It was robbed. I mean, they robbed us so hard on that. Yeah.
Fox. Sorry.
That's all right. Sorry.
They screwed it up bad. They did boo-boos all over the place.
That they did. They really screwed it up. But yeah. So you like that. What did you think what did you think of Serenity then?
I think it was nice that I really enjoyed it too. I really like that they got to finish out the story arc that they had. I just wish I could have seen it in an episodic format too, just to see what they would have done with it and how it would have gone instead that way, rather than them having to kind of essentially cram it all into a 1 to 2 hour movie.
Now you want to know the messed up part? I saw Serenity first. Because it was like, here's a sci-fi show that I've never heard. I mean, it was a sci-fi movie that I've never heard of. Right. There was like no marketing for it, but it just like popped up out of the blue. I'm like, I'm going to go watch this with a couple friends from the comic shop. And we went and watched it, and I'm like, this is friggin' amazing. What the hell is it? And then somebody is like, oh, you know, it was a TV show. I'm like, what? No, I've never heard of any of this. So then I went back and watched the TV show after I watched the movie.
Nice.
Yeah, except I wish it would have gone.
Yeah. Would have been nice, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mitchell. Can you stop looking down at us?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I know. So you liked it, though? You thought it was good?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Poor Shep.
Yep, poor Shep.
And little baby Jesus. Nailed to the front of the Shep.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's good. So you finished. How many movies and shows did you end up watching on this entire quest for knowledge, if you will, with your father watching all these crazy movies?
5 or 6, I think.
Okay. So not an insurmountable amount, but you enough.
No.
Yeah. So, did we have a podcast since I went to go see Riff Tracks of Krull?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think so either. So, Riff Tracks did the 1984, I want to say, classic of Krull. Have you ever seen Krull?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it is a sci-fi story about a monster that has an unstoppable army that lives in a castle that teleports every day to make it harder for people to get to him.
So, like, Overlord meets Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes, but the planet that they go to is called Krull. And there are two kingdoms that are the last bastions of the Resistance. And it's a female and a male that are getting married to unite the kingdoms to stand in opposition of the monster. Well, the monster raids their wedding and steals the bride. And so then the to-be husband is all but killed, but then a wise man comes down from the mountains and heals him and tells him that there is a special hidden weapon of the planet that is called the glaive, and it looks like kind of looks like a star if the star had sharp curved talons at the end. So I mean, it looks like a starfish when you hold it, and then 5 switchblades come out of it, making it the most ineffective weapon ever, because as soon as those come out, you cut your wrists. But none you know. Anyways, he throws it, and it has a will of its own and all that kind of stuff. And so then it's the quest for him and his merry band to get to the place before it teleports away and rescue the princess and defeat the monster. I have not watched it since like 1987. Do you know what a Laserdisc is? It's okay if you don't. I wouldn't expect you to.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so do you know what a VHS tape is, right?
Yes.
Okay, do you know what a Betamax is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Betamax was the beta version of VHS. So they came out with Betamax, and then they came out with VHS, and at the same time that they came out with VHS, they came out with something called Laserdiscs. And what they were these giant CDs. They were the forerunners of CDs. I'm talking like, no joke, they were like bigger than records. They're huge. They were huge. And you had this giant machine that you would insert the disc into, and you'd play about half the movie, then you'd have to take the disc out, flip it over, and put it back in. And then version 2 of that had those giant platters in a cartridge. And because it was in a cartridge, they figured out some way that they built a reader on the top and the bottom so that you no longer had to flip it over. So that was the last time I watched it, was on a giant Laserdisc cartridge that had the big giant CD inside of it that we played. So that was the last time I watched Krull. I remembered it being a really good movie. It is not a really good movie. It's very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. And they did a great job skewering it throughout the movie. But yeah, that's why I love Riff Tracks, because they make just about anything funny. So I saw that. Let's see. I've been playing the hell out of the Division survival mode. Your dad has the Division, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I think he does.
Probably.
Do you have a PlayStation 4 now?
I do not.
You do not?
I have no consoles. I've just got my 3DS and my computer.
Okay. All right. So, when you get a PS4, if you ever steal the Division from him,
I think we have digital copy.
Oh, okay. Well, they have a mode called Survival, which is completely unlike the rest of the game. The rest of the game is pretty much Destiny Light for all intents and purposes. It's a competitive shooter that you play with friends in co-op, etc., against the AI. But in survival mode, they take everything away. You start with a pistol, and you have sepsis. Do you know what sepsis is? Okay. So if you get contaminants in your blood, it's blood poisoning. You'll die after a period of time unless you find the right antibiotics or medicine or a procedure like a transfusion to fix it.
Okay.
So you generally have about an hour to live once you get sepsis. And so you have been cut. There was a helicopter crash. You were cut, so you have sepsis. So there's a timer, and then you have a pistol, and it's the middle of a blizzard in New York City. So you can't stay outside very long, or you freeze to death. On top of all of this, and you have to scrounge for materials and build the materials you need not only to survive but thrive and be able to take down more enemies to get better armor and weapons and gear. And the whole goal is to find these antibiotics that were lost to help stop the epidemic in a place called the Dark Zone, which is the worst of the worst. And then once you get them, you have to extract out of the Dark Zone, except that there are rogue AI-controlled motherfuckers of operatives that will try to stop you. So you get 5 of them. They disrupt all of your powers and abilities, and they're super fantastic shots. And you have to get past them, kill them, and then get on the helicopter and leave. And the whole mode, each round takes about 45 minutes to an hour. But it is one of the best game sessions game modes I've ever played. I wish the whole game was like that. So we've been playing the hell out of that lately. Magic Puzzle Quest. Mm-hmm. Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest. Been playing a lot of that as well. Picked up the Fire Pro Wrestling World on PS4, and I've never been a fan of those, but I never put a ton of time into it, except on the old Game Boy handhelds.
Right.
So I gave it another shot, and I do like it. It's still not quite as good as the Nintendo 64 era of wrestling games, but it's close. It's good. And then somewhere here, I have to wander off to find it. Hold on. Somewhere. Are you in here? No. Are you in here? No. Are you here? Yes. I also picked up Dragon Quest XI.
Nice.
So I have that, and then of course Spider-Man comes out tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Right,
I have that pre-ordered also, and looking forward to that immensely. You're not going to get to play Spider-Man, are you, for a while?
Nope, not till Christmas break.
Now, see, your dad does not want any spoilers whatsoever. Like, he didn't want game length or any of that stuff. But he didn't say that in advance. So I told him that the gameplay was 15 hours before he was like, I don't want to know. So they're reporting that the game is 15 hours, 30 if you do all the side quests. But they said some of the side quests are repetitive. But pretty much everyone and their brother is rating it between 8.7 and 10. So...
Dang.
It's being received very well by the critical community. I'm sure it'll do just fine in sales with the fervor that is for anything Marvel right now. And then I'm super excited to start this because it sounds like they've made a lot of good quality of life upgrades for it. I haven't played a Dragon Quest maybe since 5. And this
I think the only one I've played is the Angel one. Whichever one your character was like an angel and the tree blew up and then you got trapped on Earth.
No idea.
It was on the DS. Bo's DS era.
Wiggles a Bit asks, is that a picture of a critter behind you?
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an owl on a piano.
It's an owl at the piano. I thought it looked like Piano Cat to me a little bit. I thought you'd framed a meme. I was going to call you out for that being awesome. But yes, he Wiggles a Bit wanted to know whether or not that was a critter, and sure enough, it is a critter. That's awesome.
It is a critter.
I think that's about everything that I've been playing. I mean, a lot of Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest, because that is ridiculously fun. I thought maybe it was a Pomeranian in the picture. Wiggles a Bit said, "Oh, it's an owl. Its chest here looked like a toothy smile." Yeah, it's kind of funny.
But yeah, I guess the only other thing that I forgot to mention was Fire Emblem Heroes and Opera Omnia for my phone.
Oh, are you still playing Opera Omnia?
Yeah, I'm still playing Ramana. I was working to get gems to get Kane's lance because he seemed like a good character to have that kind of gear for. So, and I was correct. So,
I have. If you want, at some point, you should. If you like, do you like match 3? That's the easier question.
what's match 3?
Where you have the rows of gems and you match 3, 4, or 5.
Oh, yeah, kinda.
Okay, so imagine a game that is the combination of a deck building game and match 3, and that's Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest. So all the different, and you do not have to spend a single cent. You get a new pack of 3 cards every 5 hours, and sometimes they're duplicates, but most of the time they're not. And when you get, what happens when they are duplicates is it becomes powder, and after you get a certain amount of that powder geared up, you can use it to craft a new card of a rarity that you don't have. So the less rare it is, the less amount of powder you need, if that makes sense.
Right.
And
that makes sense.
And then since they have like 9 sets in it already, there's a huge card pool. And I'm mostly building my decks out of commons and uncommons and holding my own, doing better than like yesterday or over the last few days they had a event and I placed 6th in my tier for that event with common and uncommon cards. So it's not impossible to play it for free. And it's kind of cool because it's like I said, it's the combination of the deck building and then the different colored gems are the mana that fuel the cards being played. So it's kind of cool.
Right.
So that's that one. Man, did I watch anything else? I've actually just been watching a ton of wrestling. Oh, I watched the All In pay-per-view, which you probably have no idea what that is, right?
No, I do not know.
So you know what the WWE is?
Yep.
Okay, so the WWE is a giant monolith of a machine that is and will for probably ever be part of wrestling. But that is, to me, that is not wrestling, that is sports entertainment, and it's I kind of hate it. I like things that centralize on the sport of professional wrestling, and what I mean by that is, yes, it's fixed, but still, I mean, yes, the outcomes are predetermined, but there's still a lot of athleticism and the fact that they're not hurting each other, right? It's stuff that looks like it should kill people and would if you actually did it, but because they're professionals and they know how to do it, it's so Japan Strong Style, which is NJPW, makes it like a sport, right? They feature it all happens in the ring. There's no storylines. It's all about the pure athleticism, which I very much enjoy. But then there's also the independent wrestling scene, which are things like Ring of Honor and you could kind of say Impact, which used to be TNA. They're not really independents, but they're closest thing to competitors to WWE that are out there.
Right.
Well, All In was a pay-per-view of independents that crossed all the lines. Like people from Impact, people from Ring of Honor, people from New Japan, people from Mexico's leagues, which is CMLL and Lucha Libre AAA, all together. So there were like these dream matches that you could never hope to see in WWE. Right. You had Japanese people fighting Mexican people. You had American strong style wrestlers fighting luchadors. You had just like things you would never see, and it was fantastic. They had the dumbest storyline that I've ever seen in wrestling ever. That was both simultaneously a facepalm and a that's pretty awesome, if that makes sense. So it's like they wanted to do something different, and the interesting thing was they were calling it All In because of the effort that they were putting into the show. But when you really look at it, it was all in because it had everything from wrestling. They had old school style matches. They had new school style matches. They had strong style, lucha libre. They had a battle royale with men and women in it, fighting each other, which is not normal anymore. And it was all really well done. If you have New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're hosting the replays. I can't recommend it enough. It was super good, and basically it showed that there are options besides the WWE, because WWE tends to buy whatever is their competition, right? So they bought ECW, they bought WCW. Those promotions just got absorbed into WWE, and they were no longer. So this is the first time that all these different indie type shows or other things came together as one to almost create the WrestleMania of indie wrestling. So it's pretty interesting to watch. So that happened this weekend. And Mr. J. Knight says, did you ever play the Marvel Puzzle Quest?
I don't think so, but I remember playing some of the original Puzzle Quest, I think. So.
Okay. Yeah, so it's the same style, really, as both the original Puzzle Quest and the Marvel Puzzle Quest. But Mr. J. Nice was pointing out that Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest is the same style as the Marvel game, if you've played that. Let's see. Anything else that I played or watched? Man, I've been just like on the go. I think My Hero Academia, I finished that. I think that's it. So let's jump to the news. News. Now, you can check out our news feed at twitter.com/gamersledge. Or if you're on our Twitch page, it's actually embedded now, so you can just read it right there and scroll down with us if you'd like to. Your Gamersledge. Come on, Rabbit. Hop to it. Rabbit-related puns. All right, so it wasn't like we've had 2 weeks, so that's a bonus. So
yeah,
oh yeah, we have actually quite a bit to talk about. There are a couple of interesting things that happened there.
Well, I guess since we last talked, I've played Octopath Traveler 2. I've been playing that up until I left.
And so, what are your thoughts on it?
I really like it. I wish there would just be a touch more in the characters as terms of like relation and development, but they did a good job with what they did a good job in how they did implement what they do have, though. I really like the system that they have, so it's not like a super big critique, but
I really like the combat system.
Yeah, the combat system is unbelievable. It's fluid. It's really, I really like it because it's like an old school RPG, and I've liked that kind of old school style of gameplay.
So here's one that somehow posted without a link. I hate when that happens, when I post those up there. HBO announced that they've signed their first superhero show, and it will be The Watchmen. Did you see the Watchmen movie?
No.
So the interesting thing about when they made the movie is it was basically a frame by frame recreation of the comics, and that was both good and bad. But I will be interested to see how HBO evolves that into an interesting. How many episodes is a season going to be, and how they're going to do that. That should be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Spyro Remaster Trilogy is delayed for PS4 and Xbox One. They said it needed more love and care. I don't think we needed to delve into that too much deeper. Mondays, we are doing a stream of the definitive Divinity 2 playthrough. I am playing Theseus, which is a cross between the comic book guy and a mage. And then my cohort in crime, Jimmy, is playing a dwarf who is kind of a knight with magic powers. And that's been a blast so far. So make sure you check that out. Bandai Namco announced a Dark Souls trilogy for $80. Just 3 months after Dark Souls 3 went on sale as a $60 remaster of its own. So that's kind of sucks for all the people that recently bought that port.
Yeah.
Those are all on sale right now. I think you can pick up all three for $10 a piece, $15 a piece. So I'm surprised to see them on sale when they have the trilogy coming, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Slay the Spire is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I'm flabbergasted because it looks like it's coming to the Switch first for consoles. This is a game that I have on the PC. It is amazing. It is a roguelike deck building dungeon crawler.
Right, I think you talked about this on the last podcast.
I did. Let's take a look at the trailer here. Let me be the first to tell you, where it says balanced gameplay, bunch of fucking liars. It is the deck is stacked against you pretty wholeheartedly. It is a roguelike. They expect you to die. They want you to die. But the parts where it said it was horribly addictive as well, also incredibly true. It's really, really good. That is like probably my early access game of the year for 2018. It is so good.
It's kind of funny though, because I noticed for the horribly addictive one, for the quote, it was Jacksepticeye.
Yep.
Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, it's really good. Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, sorry.
Top of the morning, you laddies.
Oh, damn. I really wish I had gotten a chance to talk about this one with Dave. So, Housemarque is a very beloved developer of games on the PlayStation 4. They did Super Stardust HD and a bunch of other games, but they are making a super-powered battle royale. It's called Storm Divers. And I'm down for just about... I'm trying to think of the name of the war game they did not long ago, where you drop the suits, and it's kind of a... No. It's similar concept, but it's more of a 3/4 perspective, isometric view. Helldivers. I think they did Helldivers also. But their gameplay is usually second to none. Like, their game systems and the game loop is usually fantastically fun. So I'm all about this. But Dave hates online gaming, as does Matt. And so I'm wondering if this might be the thing to actually finally get them into online gaming. And I have a feeling the answer is, can I play it by myself? If the answer is no, they're not going to do it. But yeah.
I mean, if it's free, I might check it out, but we'll see.
Oh, this is something that completely flew under my radar. I want to see if I can find the trailer for it in here. So there is a new game called Breach, which is a co-op dungeon crawler that is completely it's kind of like a D&D dungeon crawler, in that you get to try and build these crazy builds and min-max stats to try and set up combos and stuff. Let's see if I can find... I thought I saw a trailer in here. But this it's still pre-alpha, and it's got elements of a MOBA in it, but it is not a MOBA.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find the trailer for it. Breach. PC trailer. Yep, this is it.
Bad news, good people. There's been a dimensional breach, unleashing an army of mythical beasts and demons across the globe. Are you a night owl that lives to raise hell with your friends? You're gonna make a great necromancer. Or maybe you speak softly, carry a full clip. Let him rip, Economy Slinger. Ah, you got that PhD in quantum physics just so you could be chronically late for everything. Classic chronomancer. Oh, I see you're a razor-sharp sous chef with killer chopping skills. Chop chop, assassin. You like rooting for the bad guy, don't you, bad guy? Damn, Veil Demon. Whatever you are going into the breach, you won't be the same coming out.
So it's still super early. Check that out. Yeah, it's still super early, but
you might want to cancel that.
Yeah, I am. Oops, I got too far though. Now I gotta bring up the Twitter feed again. Dang it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that looks very interesting, and they're saying you can actually mix classes. There's not really a limit on your play style, so I'm interested to see what I already signed up for the alpha, and you can sign up for the alpha at the website. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. That was one that had slipped under the radar for me. Nope, not quite yet. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay. So procedurally generated, so apparently it's going to be different every time you play. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Marvel has finally figured out what they're doing with the X-Men. They have Uncanny X-Men #1. It's going to be launching soon, but most importantly, the thing I had to signpost is, do you recognize the mutant in the center front of the team there?
Well, that'd be Bishop, I believe.
That's right. Greatest X-Men and greatest Marvel character to ever live. So,
I mean, I think the one on his left is a bit cooler, but I mean...
You shut your dirty mouth. But this is the first time that Bishop's been back in the main X titles for, I want to say close to 8 or 9 years. So, happy to see that happening in the main 616. So, I don't know if I can show this one in a separate tab. Yeah. So, Jim Lee actually published some of the rejection letters that he got from Marvel and DC. Jim Lee, by the way, is now president of DC Comics, or co-president, however that works. But when he started out as an artist, he kept submitting things to DC and Marvel and kept getting rejection letters critiquing his stuff. And so he actually, someone asked him, I can't remember exactly how the thread started, but somebody said, how did you deal with rejection? And he's like, this is how I dealt with it. And I would work out and run around a local high school track, Rocky style, chanting his heroes, Miller, Burn, over and over again. But then he actually posted the rejection letters, which is kind of cool, because you don't think of someone who is at their top of the game like Jim Lee as being somebody who's gotten rejection letters. People fight over him to draw their stuff, and yet that's not always the way it was for him. So I thought that was really cool for them to share. I met Jim Lee in Chicago once, or twice actually, and really cool guy, really cool. I can't show that because it's no longer there. Also, another announcement starting the 17th, the week of the 17th of September, we will be having on Tuesday nights on the Gamersledge Twitch channel and also YouTube, we will be playing Star Trek Dissonance. That is a new weekly pen and paper role-playing game set in the Star Trek universe using the new Star Trek Adventure rules. So we'll be doing that on Tuesdays starting at 7 p.m. Pacific. That is no longer there, sadly. Oh, Razer is coming out with 2 new programmable PS4 controllers. And that is pretty awesome because now you'll be able to program macros with it, which I am totally in love with that idea. But yeah, they basically, it looks, I like it. It looks sexy. They don't have that stupid offset left analog stick like you see on a lot of controllers. I hate that. And here we have our standard ones. But more importantly, you've got the light up Razer Chroma pad. That's pretty cool also. I'm afraid I don't know if they said how expensive they are.
I don't know how to feel about the square bottom. Like on the handles.
I think it'll be fine as long as it's not uncomfortable. But that, I mean, you're not putting your hands in that bottom section anyways.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. Just aesthetics for me, I guess. I don't know if I like the way that looks, but opinions. Everyone's got one.
Well, they said that if you do want that dumb split analog sticks, you can do it. So these are customizable as well.
Oh.
So that makes me worry that it's going to be ridiculously expensive because Razer stuff is usually...
Well, it probably is going to be.
Captain Kazoo, what was better than VR? Sorry, I missed your comment there. But I'm interested to hear what you're thinking. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about these. I'm hoping they're not $200 a piece. They very well could be, but you know, we'll see. I'm hoping more like in the range of like $129 or something like that, but we'll see. Generally, Razer stuff is pretty expensive, so we'll see. Octopath Traveler is already way up there. Oh, the Kinect Skyrim. Yeah, I've got the actual PC VR version of Skyrim, and I have played it, and for me it's pretty impressive. But I'm still in the process of loading mods into it to make it look better, so that I'm using the more recent high-res textures instead of the 2011 ones. But even as the 2011 ones, taking that wagon ride down and putting your head on the chopping block before the dragons come, that was a pretty cool experience. I enjoyed it a lot. But the thing that was interesting is when August stats came back, Grand Theft Octopath Traveler was number 1, but number 2 was Grand Theft Auto 5. And I think if you told Rockstar in 2013 that in 2018 Grand Theft Auto 5 would still be the number 2 selling game in the world and have made more money than any movie in history, which is over $6 billion now, and almost 100 million a month in online microtransactions, do you think they'd believe you? I don't think they'd believe you.
No.
It's mind-boggling.
I wouldn't. It really is.
You wouldn't believe it now?
I don't believe it now, but I mean,
it's a good sandbox experience for the online stuff. So I get it. You can do just about anything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fair enough. If that's your thing.
Yeah. Well, just as an FYI, if you do pick up, they're having a sale right now on PlayStation. If you pick up Grand Theft Auto 5 and you log in by the end of this weekend, you will get $1 million in online cash for free in the online mode. So just FYI. I want to say that the sale has Grand Theft Auto 5 down to $20, if I'm not mistaken. This is the interesting one for me. So Microsoft announced, which is actually something that we had reported on this. I want to say almost 100 shows ago. We talked about how Microsoft's endgame was to break into the cell phoneization of contracts of hardware in getting Xboxes into people's hands. And it took a really long time for them to do it, but here it is. So they announced the Xbox All Access Pass, which costs $419 a year for 2 years, or $39.99 a month is basically what that breaks down to. Now, depending on what it is, it's either okay or horrible. So if it's the Xbox One S, that's horrible. If it's the Xbox One X with 1 terabyte drive, it's not horrible. You're basically at that point, you've paid for the box in the first year, and then you're just paying software costs and after that. And that's, by the time you're paying for Xbox Live, there'd be 2 years of Xbox Live would be $120. And then the Game Pass you're getting every month as well. It's pretty close in all actuality. It's not a horrible deal. I still don't think it's quite worth that, but it's closer. This is a very interesting. The interesting thing is they said that you'd be able to use any hardware specs you wanted. The question is whether or not that will actually increase or decrease the monthly cost, right? So, if I buy a 1 terabyte Xbox One X, okay, and it's $39.99 a month, okay. But what happens if I want to add another hard drive, which is proprietary, so you got to buy it from Microsoft? So what happens if I want to add an external drive? What happens if I want to add extra controllers? Is that going to change the monthly cost, and by how much? So your mileage may vary, and you have to have good credit in order to get this, just FYI. Because you do have to do a background check and credit check. But they said they will begin offering it shortly to people who qualify. Now, you don't have a console. You're not yet paying for your own cell phone, I would imagine, right?
Not right now.
Okay. So, $39.99 a month to have a system online and access to everything in their Game Pass collection, which I think is generally around 140 games every month. For you as someone younger, is that desirable to you?
Kinda. Except it's Xbox.
Okay, but let's say PlayStation. Let's just slap the PlayStation label on it, right? If this was PlayStation, would you be interested in spending $40, which to you is a lot of money?
Yeah.
Per month, would it be worth it to you? So we would swap out the Xbox for a PS4 Pro with a terabyte hard drive. You'd have access to PlayStation Now and PS Plus.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good deal overall. It's intriguing. I'd definitely probably look into it.
I'm interested to see if PlayStation follows suit for this, because if they do, then we talked about this at length 100 episodes ago, but I'm not super stoked about the idea of amortizing my console purchase over a period of time.
Right. What happens if you cancel your subscription? Do you then lose the console, or what?
Theoretically,
how does that work?
You got to send the console back. Or you end up. I believe most likely it's probably an early termination fee of the remainder of the contract, because it's a 2-year deal, right? So if you say, "Oh, I don't want it," then you're just going to end up paying the remainder as a lump sum, just like the old cell phone contracts used to.
Right.
It's funny because if you look at it, now Microsoft is adopting the cell phone model, while the cell phone model has actually gone to the console model. You now prepay for your phone up front. You buy the whole thing outright in most cases, and then go from there. So it's kind of interesting that's kind of flip-flopped.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red revealed the 48-minute behind closed door demo of Cyberpunk 2077. Did you watch this?
No, I did not.
Fail sauce. So good. So good. My wife
might check it out after this time.
Yeah, my wife is still concerned because it's first person and she can't really watch first person stuff without getting crazy. Right. But man, I tell you, it's super sexy. I'm super excited about it. It looks like they give you options so that you never really have to do a lot of combat. It looks like you can solve most things by hacking. I'm definitely going to try and go that route because I don't necessarily want to do, gunplay.
Right.
But
is there did they show any like stealth combat capability, like just that kind of level? Okay.
Yeah. So they had some interesting things towards the end, and we don't know for this demo. Like, we know that the story takes place towards the beginning of the game, but what we don't know is how amped up they made the character by that point in the game.
Right.
But one of the things they did later on is she hacked into a guy's neural net, and she then found their security protocols for that division or that squad, and tied to their security protocols within their local area networks were the firing controls for their guns, and she disabled them all. So they couldn't shoot her with their guns. So it looks like there will be a lot of different ways that you can solve scenarios. And it also looks like every choice you make is going to compound with other things that happen in the story down the line. It's really good. You really need to watch it. It is super good. If this runs really short, we might just watch it. I started streaming Fire Pro in the Division. Here we go. Henry Cavill has been confirmed to be Geralt of Rivia in Netflix's Witcher series. They also confirmed that the first season will only have 8 episodes. Cavill has been outspoken about wanting to play the role because he's a huge Witcher fan, and I am totally down with this.
Is this live action or?
It's live action. So it'll be a live action Witcher series on Netflix.
I mean, he definitely looks like he could fit the role.
There have been a lot of things on Twitter and Instagram of people photoshopping Geralt and him together with some really pretty stellar effects. It's really good, so I'm super excited about it. My only real question is, in an 8-episode series, they better dedicate an entire freaking episode to Gwent.
There might be a filler episode somewhere.
He's got to travel around from city to city finding Gwent masters to compete against. I'm sorry, this is imperative for me. Chinese video game companies are freaking out right now because since March, the government has put a shutdown on all new games being developed in China. They are concerned about how many hours the youth are spending instead of being productive, working and things of that nature. So they have put a freeze on all new games being granted permission to launch within the country since March. Give me just 1 second.
Dang.
Murder dog. Stop. Okay. So yeah, one of the reasons I'm very happy we live in a free country for now.
Yeah.
So On the podcast previously, we have had multiple discussions about the crossplay issue with PlayStation 4 versus everyone else. Everyone else is playing nice together. Sony is the last holdout with their walled garden approach. I've told them that I've said that the way they're doing it is the wrong way to do it. Basically, we know they're keeping it because it's money to them, right? If you can't use your Fortnite account because you're not buying through the PS4 ecosystem and Sony's not getting their cut, then you can't play with that if you've played on PS4, you can't play on your phone or anywhere else. Because then Sony wouldn't get their cut. Which...
What if I had a Sony phone?
No, because it'd still be through the Android... It'd still be through the Android store, so that won't work. That's still the same problem. They've basically, X people from Sony have said the only reason is money, and really, transparently, the only reason is money. And what their new CEO came out this week and said is, it's because we want people to have the best user experience, and we can only control that on PlayStation, which that is so Microsoft. That is not the right thing to say. If you're doing it for money, just own up to it. Hey, this is a revenue stream that we've come to rely upon, and we see no need to change it right now. We understand players would like us to, but to be honest, it doesn't make fiscal sense for us. And then, good, bad, or indifferent, you can say, okay, I agree with that or I disagree with that, but they're being truthful. This seems disingenuous to me. I don't know. When you hear that people can only get the best user experience when it's on PlayStation 4, do you believe that to be true?
I don't know if that's... The wording can be tricky there, because the way you said it the first time made some kind of sense to me, because you said they could only give you the best user experience on the PlayStation 4 with the PlayStation 4. Like, they couldn't cross-connect it. They couldn't control the atmosphere outside of the PS4 version of the version of the game.
Have you
for
played
crossplay?
And let's use the most popular game, which I believe you hate. But have you played Fortnite?
I have touched upon it here and there on my computer, but
okay. So have you played it on the PS4?
No.
Okay. So I will be the first to tell you that Fortnite on the PS4 is not better than Fortnite on the PC. It's the same game.
Right.
And if I plug my PS4 controller into the PC, it plays exactly the same. So, I don't think there's credence necessarily to what he's saying. Because you're exactly right. You can't control the experience beyond the walls of the PS4. But shouldn't the cream rise to the top? If the PS4 has the best user experience, if that's true, then people will play on PS4 because it's better than playing on PC or Xbox One or anywhere else, right?
Right. In theory, you're right. It's probably mostly a money grab.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's a fallacy what he's saying.
Right.
And it makes them look disingenuous.
Right. It's probably mostly political, not really political, but political move and a money move.
Right. See, and this is something that Matt and I were talking about. This worries me, right? Because Sony has been very forward-thinking with the PlayStation and its business up until this point. This seems like a giant step backwards to me. This seems like the Sony of old that was... You will go out and get 2 jobs to be able to afford a PlayStation 3 at $595, right? So it seems very backwards, draconian kind of way of explaining it for 2018.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best move for them to make. They could have handled it better.
I still think until publishers boycott releasing on the platform, there will be no traction or no movement. That's the only way it's going to change. Sony unveiled 2 new PSVR bundles today, one at $399 and one at $299, showing that the PSVR is not dead, unlike the Vita. Oh, poor Vita. And then last but not least, Dooming Dave Forever, Cyberpunk 2077 says it's planning to include a camera mode to take pictures of things in the game, and it's crazy. So you have not seen that? I'm sorry, we're gonna have to watch it.
All right, but I do have one piece of news before we go.
Oh, go for
that.
it. Go for it.
Matt Smith was cast for a role in Episode 9 for Star Wars.
And we do not know what his role is yet, correct?
We do not know who it is, but apparently people have been hoping / theorizing that it'll be Admiral Thrawn.
Will he be in a TARDIS?
Probably not, sadly, and there'll probably be no bow ties, though I do low-key kind of hope that they would throw in a small bow tie shot somewhere in there. Not with him like having one on, but just like a bow tie in the background or something, sitting on a desk or something, on a bookshelf or...
Do you think we'll get any wibbly-wobbly Vader waiter?
Probably not. Probably not. Big ball of wibbly-wobbly Vader waiter.
Here we go. Here we go. Alright, so...
Are we going to get copyright striked for this? I feel like we're going to get copyright striked for this.
Ask me if I care.
I'm guessing the answer's no.
Hint, I don't. It's part of our conversation, I'm sorry. It's really good, and I'm going to turn it down so that we can talk over it.
Alright.
I didn't mean to do that. There we go. So what do you know about this? Anything?
I've seen the original, the first trailer that they put out, the one with the car guy.
World RPG set in a dark version of the future. Before we start, a small but important disclaimer. The gameplay you're about to see is from a work-in-progress version of the game. Everything you see is potentially subject to change. In Cyberpunk 2077, you can fully customize your character.
The pixelization.
For this demo, we're going to play it.
And I can guarantee you that that is not pixelized in the actual game.
We just want to give you
Probably not.
Actually, in fact, I am going to have to stop it at some point so that we don't get flagged for other strikes eventually.
Oh my.
Because there is full frontal nudity in it.
Okay then.
I'll skip past that part.
Alright, sounds good.
But visuals aren't everything. You'll also be able to customize your initial attribute set. You'll notice we didn't pick a class. Cyberpunk 2077 features a fluid class system, and you'll be able to modify your class throughout the game. This demo takes place near the beginning of the game. V and her friend Jackie, along with a netrunner named T-Bot, are hired to find and retrieve a missing person. A girl whose locator implant went dark.
It's clear. Go.
Her eyes change colors.
Yep.
Cyberpunk 2077 is a first-person role-playing game. This perspective enables us to maximize your immersion.
Should have full access in 2.8 seconds.
Boy, it's struggling with this for some reason. Let me try.
It is. It's struggling hard.
Let me try to do non-full screen.
Otherwise, if it doesn't work out, as I said, I can watch it afterwards, and I'll get back to you, and we can talk about it next week. But I mean, yeah, just the graphics already just look amazing.
Actually,
just the detail.
These scavengers are kidnapping people to harvest their implants.
Oh, that music. That means there's trouble.
Things are about to get heated. We'll take a reflex booster that temporarily allows us to use the Kolesnikov ability.
Does that wouldn't work? You can't fire a gun underwater.
Yeah, I know, it's super struggling with this.
Yeah.
So it's Division style RPG.
I mean, yeah, it looks pretty good.
Can't see shit! Got none to fucking use! Where he's in looks out on the balcony. Got a window on the left. Go!
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's dying. I don't want to do it disservice. You really should watch it. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's still not coming for another year, but I'm super excited about it when it does.
Kind of reminded me of Deus Ex a little bit.
A little bit. It has some of those elements, but I think it's much more cyberpunk than even Deus Ex is. They really talk about, you've got cool level, which is, your street cred kind of stuff. You end up taking a big time job from a famous fixer in this, and then it talks about, shows the world and how you fit into it. It's really kind of crazy. Like, the scope of this is going to be huge. So I'm very interested. I believe you can blackmail characters as well. Once you get their contact information, you can hack them and blackmail them. So that's kind of interesting. I'm super excited about it. I think it's a very unexplored genre in terms of gaming. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
And if they put a picture mode on that, I'm pretty sure Dave will die. We'll never see him again.
Might just happen.
Yeah, it almost definitely will. Any other news that we missed? I know there's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow.
I'll have to tune into that.
I believe they're probably going to talk about Nintendo Online, because that's coming in November, I believe.
Something like that.
But yes, it will be interesting to see exactly what we get from them.
We might get some more Smash, because supposedly there's still even more characters on the way and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of hope for some of the 2019 Pokemon game stuff, but probably not going to happen.
Probably not. I don't think we'll see anything till they have much more concrete stuff. Probably not till November, late November or so.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, this is going to bring us to the point of the show where we like to thank our patrons. They're the folks who allow us to keep doing what we do every single week in, week out. Their support is very appreciated. You can subscribe and help contribute to the show over at patreon.com/gamersledge, where you can get your name on every show that we do for as little as $1 a month. For the folks that have pledged at the $5 and above level, we like to read off a list to thank them here too. Sometimes we even put the $1 ones on there too, because we love them just as much. So thank you to Arturo, Bobby, Eric, John, Ian, Naomi, Patrick, Regina, and of course Justin. Thank you for being patrons and supporting Gamersledge. That's going to bring us to final thoughts then. Final thoughts for this week, good Sir Mitchell.
So, for my dad's sake, I have to say Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man. And then on my end, there's a One Piece game coming out in November, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that, and I've just got to, get through the next, whatever, how many more seasons I have left to get through. So, yeah.
Okay. For my final thought, man, we're getting into the busy season. There's not enough time. I mean, I'm gonna have a friggin' day with this before it's cast aside like a redheaded stepchild in lieu of Spider-Man. It's terrible, man. There's just not enough time. And we finally got that wasn't in there for some reason. Anthem's release date was finally nailed down. I believe it's February 7th, if I remember correctly. That means that it's got exactly 1 month before Division 2 comes out.
Dang.
There's just not enough time.
Yeah.
We've got to go back, Marty. Sorry. So yeah, we'll end the show as we always do with a kernel of wisdom to carry you through your week. Mitchell, what's the difference between a Zippo and a Hippo?
A Z?
No, one's really heavy and the other's a little lighter.
Okay.
Until next week, everybody, thanks for watching and game on.
Game out.